My name is Stephen Roberts, and I'm just an ordinary worker at a securities firm. I joined this company when I was 30, and I've put in 29 years of hard work. I was only a year away from retirement, looking forward to winding down and handing over my responsibilities. I was preparing to spend my last year on internal projects. Then, a young manager named Taylor Norris was transferred to my department from Tokyo. The branch manager introduced him as our new department head. I recognized his last name and realized he was the CEO's son. At only 25, he was now our boss. One day, Taylor called me over and abruptly told me I was fired. I asked him why, but he refused to explain. I was stunned and had no choice but to leave. I went home and told my wife, who was just as shocked as I was. The next day, I returned to the office to collect my things, only to find my workspace in disarray. Before Taylor joined, I had been helping my replacement prepare for a big client handover. I shared my knowledge and explained that the client was cautious because it was a big transaction. I wanted to leave my role smoothly, but with this sudden decision, I was left feeling lost and disappointed. One of my last interactions with Taylor was when he criticized one of my reports, asking me to make it more readable without offering clear guidance. I felt undervalued, especially after giving nearly 3 decades to the company. The new manager, Taylor Norris, the CEO's son, constantly brought up his father whenever he spoke. One day, he criticized a report I prepared, even though I followed the pre-decided format exactly. When I mentioned this, he snapped back, saying it didn't matter when it was decided and that I should revise it if he found it difficult to read. He added that if he became president, he'd want documents that grabbed his attention. His attitude was arrogant, and he often assigned tasks to others without taking responsibility himself. Since I was planning to retire soon, I tried to ignore his behavior, though it wasn't easy. One afternoon after lunch, Taylor called me into the meeting room. I was caught off guard, wondering what could be wrong. When I sat down, he went straight to the point. "Mr. Roberts, you're fired." Shocked, I was at a loss for words as he handed me the termination letter. I tried to ask why, but he simply said, "The decision has been made." Each time I asked for a reason, he brushed me off, telling me it was already decided. Taylor even said, "You were going to retire next year anyway, so think of this as early retirement." I protested, saying I was still capable of working hard, but he dismissed me, saying, "You finished all your handovers, and you don't do any outside work. Aren't you physically too old?" It was clear he had no respect for my years of hard work, and I was left feeling defeated and unappreciated. The manager looked at me and said, "It's been decided that you'll be fired, so leave things to us younger folks." I protested, saying it wasn't fair, and asked if he knew who I was, but he shrugged and said, "I could tell the CEO if I wanted to. My decision is the same as his." Then, he left the room, leaving me stunned. I had no choice but to go home, feeling completely speechless. On the drive back, I worried about how to tell my wife and whether it would make her anxious. When I arrived home, she greeted me with a warm smile. "Welcome home. I've made dinner." I decided to tell her the news while we ate. "I have something important to tell you," I began, hesitating. "I've been laid off." I expected her to be upset or disappointed, so I kept my eyes down. But then, to my surprise, she said with a smile, "I'm so happy you're finally done with that job. You've worked so hard, let's take it easy from now on." Her positive reaction lifted my spirits, and I realized she didn't blame me at all. The next day, I returned to the office to collect my belongings. When I arrived, the atmosphere felt tense. As I entered, I saw the manager looking frantic. I asked a colleague what was going on, and he explained, "Our major clients are calling to cancel their contracts one after another. We're not sure why, but it's been non-stop since this morning." The manager was visibly panicking, struggling to contact each client and prevent further cancellations. But things were only getting worse. I wanted to give a final farewell speech to the manager, but he brushed me off, saying, "I'm not in the mood for this right now, can we do this later?" So, I said my goodbyes to the other employees. As I left, I could still hear the manager desperately trying to manage the crisis. his voice echoing across the office as he worried about the mounted losses if any more clients canceled their contracts. The manager snapped at his employees. "If we keep losing clients, the first ones to be fired will be those below you." One employee defended himself. "I've been trying to reach my clients all morning." "Then go directly to their offices and apologize," the manager shouted back. "You're completely useless. No wonder you haven't been promoted. Be more responsible." When the employee tried to reply, the manager cut him off. "Are you talking back? Only speak up once you fix this problem." The manager continued berating each subordinate, shifting blame from one to the next. With the tense atmosphere, I quickly packed up my things and left, feeling I had no chance to say goodbye. Later, when I told my wife about the chaos at work, she surprised me by laughing. "Oh, your company," she said. "They had a lot of contracts with businesses in our group, but I canceled all of them." "Wait, you canceled them because I was laid off?" I asked. "That's part of it, but honestly, I never thought very highly of your company. When I went to meetings there, I felt they weren't very open or professional," she explained. "So when I heard they let you go, I decided to end our contracts with them." I was stunned. My wife, as it turns out, is the chairman of a holding company that owns popular restaurants. Her restaurants had contracts with my old company, but when they laid me off, she canceled everything in response. I couldn't hide my surprise, but honestly, I felt a sense of relief. "It's unfortunate that you had to leave your job because of the restructuring," my wife said, "but let's take it easy from now on." "I agree," I replied. "It's a bit sooner than expected, but I'll enjoy this time." "You've worked so hard all these years. I'd like to spend more time with you," she added. "Now that I'm stepping down as chairman, I've already chosen my replacement." Though being laid off was unexpected, I had been with the company for 29 years and had saved enough. My wife, too, was ready for a slower pace, planning to pass on her role as chairman to a successor. With this early retirement, we began enjoying our days together, living life at a relaxed pace.